Speaking
So
of stars, though, you just shot a film with RuPaul, right? Can you
yes,
can you
I
talk about that
did.
at all?
Yeah, I guess I can. It's been announced. They didn't. I mean, they're giant stars in this movie. So I mean, I'm like, they didn't announce me, but wait, would it? But I'm in a really fun movie directed by Adam Shankman. It's
Ooh,
called Stop
cool.
That Train, and it was so much fun to do. I didn't get to work with Rue on this one, but yes, all I can say is it's a bunch of drag queens playing stewardesses, um,
I love the
playing
concept.
female stewardesses on a train that's very similar to Airplane. It is, it
Mm.
is, and I say this with complete respect, stupid, stupid, stupid.
Hi, this is Dr. Andrew Rimby, the host of the Ivory Tower Boiler Room, an arts and culture podcast. Thank you for listening. I want to just remind you all that if you're not following us on social media, please do. It's always nice to interact with you all, and I'm always posting clips from the podcast, information about our free book club that's on Zoom, and all other kinds of exciting events, and a lot of literary posts. So Instagram is at Ivory Tower Boiler Room, and so is our Facebook. We have a LinkedIn, a YouTube channel where you might be watching us now. So, hi, there's a video episode on YouTube. And our TikTok is actually my name. It's at Dr. Rimby. And Patreon is where you can find all the just uncensored, no ad episodes. It's patreon.com/ivory tower boiler room. There's usually some kind of deal going on, and you can try it out for a few days for free if you just want to see what gets posted there. And if you're listening on Apple, please leave us a review. It means a lot. If you're listening on Spotify, make sure you're following us. And I hope you all just enjoy this episode. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the Ivory Tower Boiler Room. It's Dr. Andrew Rimby. We are joined with Droege, who is just an incredible comedic talent. I'm here with my friend Brian, who's been on before to talk about queer. So, he has an obsession with Luca Guadagnino, as do I.
Same,
But
I do too, as
yeah.
well. Yeah.
Well, Drew, if you don't know, in 2010 was given the Outfest Film Festival Special Programming Award for Emerging Talent. He was named one of Out Magazine's Out 100. In 2012, LA Weekly cited him as one of LA's top 10 comedy acts to watch. He's won an Indie Series Award. He's been in so many amazing films. You probably have seen him in films like we're going to talk about Eating Out because I am obsessed with Eating Out,
Mhm.
but he was also in Queer, and he's coming from an amazing high off Broadway in a play that he actually created called Messy White Gaze that Brian and I had the privilege of seeing. And now here he is on the podcast. So welcome, Drew.
Hi, you two. Thanks for
Hey,
having
Drew.
me.
Thanks for coming
Hello.
on.
Yeah,
Hi.
Yay.
I know. I'm so happy this worked out.
Oh,
Uh,
Yes, I
same.
am
And thank you
too.
for with all the back and forth. I really appreciate it and working out. This is just, it's perfect.
Yeah, no,
Perfect
yeah.
thank you,
to do
Drew.
this. Yes.
Thank you so much. So,
Yes.
as Andrew just rightly said, your new play, Messy White Gaze, is fantastic, and I
Thank
reviewed
you.
it recently in December for the Gay and Lesbian Review. It's a satire, for those who don't know, about modern gay culture. It's based loosely on Hitchcock's film Rope. Um, what else can you tell us about it? What inspired it?
Yeah,
What was
well,
it like
first of
getting it
all,
staged?
thank you for your incredibly, it was this very sweet review, but also thank you for getting the play because it's one that we knew when we put it up. We're like, all right, this is going to be polarizing and people are gonna, we're just happy that people came and also on top of that, happy if they liked it on any level. But yeah, it's about a throuple in Hell's Kitchen on a Sunday morning who've just decided that they're kind of done with their third. They've gotten what they need from him, so they just kill him. And then they've forgotten that they've invited people over for brunch that day, so they have to deal with the dead body in the room. It's 80 minutes. The entire play is one long scene, and just more and more wild characters come in. And we just did a really fun 14-week run at the Duke on 42nd Street in New York
Mhm.
City, which was just a dream come true. And yeah, it was just, yeah, it was so hard, so much work, but it was just one of those things that I just had to pinch myself constantly. Like, we get to show up and do this crazy play that just came out of my
So
belly for
crazy,
one day.
so audacious. I think I giggled and gasped through the whole thing. When I wasn't gasping, I was giggling.
Yeah, yeah.
So
And
I
you're
wanted to,
yeah.
I mean, I had done my other, I had, this is the first play I had ever written with multiple characters in it. But my first two solo shows, I had done three solo shows as me doing storytelling, and this story happened to me, or this thing and that, and I had different sort of topics on them. But then I did a solo show about 10 years ago now, that I considered a play because I was playing a character and I was talking to multiple people. It was called Bright Colors and Bold Patterns,
Mhm.
and that was a play in which I was. It was all before a gay wedding in Palm Springs,
Mhm.
and then in about 2020, I wrote a one man play called Happy Birthday Doug, which took place during a gay birthday party in Los Angeles. So
Mhm.
I always said, well, my next thing has to be after a gay funeral in New York. So that was always in my head, like gay funeral in New York. And then I was like, I don't really have funeral. It's just not really resonating. I'm grateful for that. I mean, great. But
Yes.
during pandemic, I was sitting alone a lot. I was watching a lot of Hitchcock films and feeling very claustrophobic. And it was also at a time when, Black Lives Matter was starting, and the George Floyd and all of it. And I just was seeing a lot of white people, especially white men, and in our community, white gay men, centering themselves in the conversation and sort of kind of implying like, I understand what the experience is like because I'm gay,
Right.
and realizing that how gay white men love to claim this sort of ownership, yet don't really have a lot of friends of color, trans friends, female friends, cis female friends, queer female friends, anything other than what they look like. And then even within that, um, they don't have fat gay gay white men friends. They don't have old gay white men friends.
Mhm.
They have a very specific type of curated, oh my God, these are my sisters, and it's a
Mhm.
lot of hot, traditionally hot white gay men. And I was thinking about that, and also kind of in the idea of how we can be disposable, and in our own community, like I've got what I need from you, moving on. So I started thinking about, well, what if the play was a murder? And then with murder, it opened up a lot, and I can make a satire and be like, oh my God, this is so much fun because I can actually, it can be so heightened and over the top that,
Mhm.
I could be saying these things without preaching and screaming, hopefully, and making it a little bit like, what if these are five horrible gay men? My other plays, I feel like I love to write about terrible gay people. I love to play terrible gay people. I love to play gay villains. But I always like to, when there's like something redeeming about them, or you find out, like, in some of my plays, a lot of it is like Tears of a Clown, or
Mhm.
I feel like an outsider in my community. In this play, I was like, what if there's not a redeeming quality in these
Mhm.
people? What if they think they're right? They all think they're correct. But what if all of them were actually bad and
Mm.
wrong? And, and it required us really finding very charming actors so that you could sit with them for 80 minutes. And so we had very likable actors, in my opinion, but they were playing pretty rancid people. And we knew that some people were coming and going, oh, these people are awful. I am out. The world's crazy. But in my opinion, comedy is a social corrective. Comedy should point out what we are doing wrong, and that we can laugh at it so that we don't do that, so that we don't repeat those, so that we aren't those people and repeat those mistakes or make those choices. And we don't just celebrate ourselves, because I hate
Right.
when you celebrate yourself.
Yeah, Andrew, you and I have spoken about this before in the past, how people in our community are either demonized or they're like canonized. They're
Right,
either saints or they're complete sinners. They
right.
can't just be flawed characters. They can't just be
Absolutely.
unlikable characters.
Hmm.
If they're gay or they're marginalized in any way, they have to be sacred. And I love
Yes.
that you killed those sacred sort of cows, as it
Mm.
were.
Yeah, and I wanted the audience to think that I come in last in the play. I come in 30 minutes in to the play, and I really, I don't want to give it away because we are planning to do more productions of this
Oh,
later, but
good.
Oh, good.
I wanted people to think, oh, the playwright's here. He's here to like kind of right all their wrongs and drag them for filth,
Yeah.
in which I can actually go, well, actually, I might be maybe the worst. I don't know. Um,
Yeah, yeah. Well, and did you always knew that you were going to have a role in the play? Like you knew that you were going to be enmeshed in it?
Absolutely. I'm an egomaniac, period. I can't imagine not being it. No, I thought of like what would be a fun, I feel lucky that, I've gotten to write a lot of things now and sort of like
Yeah.
create a lot of roles for myself. And so I sort of I feel like when I wrote Bright Colors and Bold Patterns, that was a role that I really wanted to write, really a role that I've always wanted to play, and like somebody that I really felt like. And so I understand that this is a role that I thought this is right for this play, but I've written so many other, yeah, if that makes any sense. Like I
Yeah.
didn't feel like this character is kind of in one lane, and it was a really fun role to play every night, but it was dark. It was heavy some nights to get through it, and some audiences just straight up hated me. But I kind of enjoyed that as well. I mean, I think that's kind of the joy of doing theater every night is
Yeah.
putting a
Yeah.
room
Yeah.
together and feeling our feelings.
Yeah, and like putting the mirror up, like I do feel that Messy White Gaze, what's so brilliant is that, I mean, I'm a white gay, Brian's a white gay, Drew, you're a white gay, but
Yeah.
like it feels that it was so timely for the moment that a majority of us can have that introspective, turn where we actually see ourselves reflected that way,
Mhm.
where you have so many amazing campy performances. Like, Dick Dickey. I
Oh,
don't know if Eating Out would have taken the comedy in that way. Like could you like maybe even speak to what was it like being in so many campy like cult queer films that didn't necessarily do what you do with the political angle.
oh yeah. I mean, I always, there was a time that like, especially the gay film festivals, I would be in like, I'd be in like 7 or 9 shorts, like in the thing always as monsters, and I was so happy, like sort of carving that out and playing that, and people were like sort of writing these fun, awful people for me to play. I just feel like we don't like, in the world of a world when everybody's gay. I understand like if you're going to do a mainstream, you're going to do something, and yes, I think we need more gay stuff in the mainstream, but I don't say mainstream as in good. I just mean like something that more people watch,
Mhm.
Sure.
and there's a gay character. I understand where you're like, we can't make the one gay character so awful. And I'm like, well, but in a world of gay people, we need that spectrum. And we all identify with it. We know it, right? We go, oh, I know that bitch. I've
Mhm.
been that queen. Or that asshole wouldn't give me, time of day at the bar or whatever. And so,
I knew all those men on the stage, honestly,
oh,
in Messy
yes.
White
Oh,
Gaze.
yeah,
I knew
yes.
all of them personally, and I've dated
Uh,
at least one of them each at
Oh,
one point.
good. Or I'm sorry. But
Yeah.
I something like Dick Dickey was Philip Bartell was a writer of the Eating Out. I think he's done. I'm not sure, but I know he wrote that one, and I know he's done some of the other ones before. And Alan Broca directed this one. He came back and he didn't do all of them, but he directed the first one and came back and did this one. And they were friends of mine through the Outfest world and had seen me do other things and whatever. And so when they were putting this one together, they kind of were like, I did remember I had to audition for it. And it was the first like big part I had done in a movie before. And I was, in terms of like, having to kind of play this character. And so anyway, but I do think when they named him Dick Dickey, it's like, hi, Drew Droege, Dick Dickey. I do think, there was something like, we kind of had me in mind the whole time. But, I love playing humorless people as well. Like, I think they're so funny, that they're just completely out of touch with what's ridiculous about them. And he was clearly a failed actor who ran this drama camp with the hottest men,
Yeah.
and just like, but he wouldn't let them have sex. And he was just like, if you have sex, and then has the line that Philip beautifully wrote, which is Shakespeare didn't have cum shots. And, and so I got to play this complete, who was clearly, and I was proudly, like, I think I had not had sex in like 7 years or something. I don't remember, but I was kind of proudly above sex and clearly just horny and
Yeah, sure.
angry that no one had thrown me any. And so, of course, spoiler, when that does happen, I become fine. And it's sort of like this magical thing of like, oh, I just needed to get laid. Um, that movie was so much fun to do. We shot it at a Jewish day camp in Malibu,
Oh.
which I did shut the camp down. The very first day of shooting, we were shooting in a rabbi's office, my scene, and I was screaming such dirty things that a rabbi was walking by and overheard and thought we were shooting actual porn.
Oh my
So
gosh.
we had to prove to him that we weren't actually doing that. So the movie was shut down because of me and my loud mouth.
Oh my God.
So I mean, it was just about an hour outside of LA we were shooting, but they were planning on just keeping us there. So we had packed to like spend like 10 days or 2 weeks or something up in this camp to do the movies. We had to go home the next day. So but they let us stay that night. They were very sweet. And they were like, we just don't want you to do this here. Stop the cameras rolling. You can spend the night, but you have to go home in the morning. So the whole cast, we had just met, or the whole beginning of the whole thing. We got drunk and played spin the bottle the night after our first day of shooting. And then like a month later, they were able to come back. And I think we ended up going somewhere else. I don't actually remember how we ended up finishing the movie. But that stuff you saw in me in the office was the first day. And, with Stephen Daigle. And it was too dirty and too loud.
No, I was saying to my husband Lawrence that like we need another eating out. Like I miss, is her name
Absolutely.
Rebecca? The one who makes the
Rebecca Coachette,
cameos?
she's
Yeah.
a genius. I get to do shows with her live in LA a lot, and so I still see Rebecca,
Oh,
and she's so funny, and she's one of the funniest people, and I know just she's a genius in these movies. Like, hello.
yeah, yeah,
I just want to return briefly, if I could, to
yeah.
Missy White Gaze, because there was something you said that I thought was really interesting, Drew, that I wanted to follow up on. You expressed your gripe, rightfully so, with the contemporary gay white community in terms of how they center themselves when dealing with other social issues.
Right.
But also at the same time, given the horrors of the current administration, how can queer artists fight back against these sort of dangerous policies beyond just protesting? Not that protesting isn't enough, but using their art, right? What
Yes,
can they do?
absolutely. Well, I think anytime you use your art to get a bunch of people in a room together and sort of to be together and realizing how much power you have. I think also recognizing what your power is, like if your power is to write and to make fun of gay culture and gay community and sort of hopefully urge them to be nicer, kinder people and not be like that, then that helps.
Yes.
Also, we laugh at ourselves before they can laugh at us. I also
Yes.
say too
Yeah.
that there's there's nothing that we can do that they haven't done so much worse in terms of what they've said.
Yeah.
And so if we're worried about, I was trying to explain that I did a talk back with some NYU students after the show one night, and you could just feel that they were really smart, about how they approached the play, but also it kind of broke my heart because they were living in such fear, and they were like, "How do you not have fear?"
Mm.
And how, and they were sort of like, this is satire, right? We're studying satire in school and we don't really know. And I was like, oh, I feel lucky. Like I just came up with satire. Like I came up with Heathers and John Waters films and, all of those dark 90s Todd Solondz films. And,
Oh yeah.
and I got to see Joe Orton plays when I was in college, which just blew my mind. And I was like, this from the 60s and very queer, very loud, very, Gregor Rocky, like these people who,
Yeah, Gregor Rock is great.
that you just watch and you're sort of like, oh, I get there's an anger here, but there's also like, it's on the right side of social history and
Yes.
moral history. Um, and it takes your brain to kind of go, oh, they're showing us the opposite and pleading for, I mean, obviously all of Todd Haynes, I mean, Safe and
I love Todd Haynes. Yeah, you just named my favorite
Poison
living
and all those,
filmmaker.
those
Yeah.
nuclear cinema. Like I
Christine Vachon and everything she produced.
absolutely Christine
Yeah.
Vachon, everything that she has done to with Killer Films and all of that, where you're just sort of watching these things that just sort of like shaped my voice. I was coming up and watching that, and I think we need that again.
We
And we
do. We do. Yes, we do. I'm glad you
and it's
said
something
that.
that like
Yeah.
like one of the only good things that came out of AIDS was art
Yeah.
and community, and it was gay people like learning science and learning history and learning to like put their bullshit aside and like and actually like doing shit and going, we're gonna bond together. And I do think this is a call to action. And I can only do so much, but it's like if I don't ever feel like I'm doing enough. I feel like I'm always like, oh God, I'm just doing this play but if it's making people come together and realize that, New York had this wealth of gay theater last year, and I'm sure it will this year as well.
Yeah,
and there
Prince
were so many
Faggot, sure.
choices.
Yeah.
Prince Faggot, Oh Mary,
Oh,
uh,
Mary. Oh, Mary was great.
God, I'm drawing a
Titanic,
blank, but
that you were in.
Titanic, of
Yeah.
course. I mean,
Yeah.
but then there were only so many different um, points of view in the
Mhm.
gay experience there wasn't like the gay play to
Right.
go and see. There were lots to choose from, and so tonight I'm going to go see Fauci Kramer, or Kramer
Oh,
Fauci,
yeah.
actually Kramer
Yeah, yeah.
Fauci.
I want to see
It's
that.
the first night tonight. I'm so excited to go see this, a play about Larry Kramer and Anthony
Yeah.
Fauci. Like,
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
we're just making stuff and kind of saying like, putting it out there. And I just encourage anybody, like, whatever, if it's poetry, if it's if it's visual art, if it's just whatever, if it is posting on social media, if you whatever you're doing is important.
Now that the spring semester is here, I am so excited to let you all know about a publisher, an independent publisher that's celebrating 40 years of great books called Broadview Press. I love Broadview Press. I have so many of their editions of classic literature like Wuthering Heights, which is coming out soon, and it's our book club choice. And they have so many academic books for instructors and for students and the general public. So I've had so many exciting guests on, from guests talking about The Wonderful Wizard of Oz, guests talking about vampire literature, horror literature. I'm looking at you, Jeffrey Andrew Weinstock, whose book actually just came out called Horror Theory. Look it up. And I cannot wait because I have two exciting guests coming on soon. And I've recorded their episode, so I know that it's going to be such an interesting conversation. The first is Rachel Tukolsky, who wrote a book called Writing on Fire, a fierce yet friendly guide to writing humanities essays in college. I've used excerpts of it for my Writing 2 course at Montclair. It has gone over so well. I just love what Rachel does. And we get into this in our episode about this metaphor about writing on fire, like how that's a great way to think about free flowing, brainstorming, creative ideas, and getting into that flow state, which, as Rachel explains, happens not just in writing, but in many other avenues. And then the other guest that I have on is David Starkey, who wrote a book called Academic Writing Now, a brief guide for busy students. It is designed to cover the basics of a college writing course in a concise, student-friendly format. Each chapter concentrates on a crucial element of composing an academic essay and is capable of being read in a single sitting, which, for a generation, myself included, I think all of us now, just consumed by digital media or just this attention grabbing technology, reading in a single sitting is definitely a plus. So head to Broadview Press, use the promo code Ivory Tower, and you'll get 20% off every single book in their collection. There's also a really cool digital library collection they have. So if you're a librarian, take a look at that. Message me. If you're a librarian, I'd be happy to show you what that new collection looks like. And I hope you all enjoy your reading. It may be freezing here in the Northeast, but when I received my copy of the Gay and Lesbian Review, it warmed me up instantly. Their new issue is all about kink culture. Let me explain a little. I'm going to read what Jeremy C. Fox, the managing editor, has to say about this issue. He says this issue marks a bit of a departure for the Gay and Lesbian Review as we crack open the bedroom door to explore the practices and paraphilias that interest or obsess some LGBT people and the roots of their appeal. Several future articles delve deeply into why certain kinks turn some of us on, and whether we can discern historical and aesthetic rationales behind these fixations. This magazine features articles such as The Power of the Foot. Oh, yeah, they're going there with foot kinks. Maplethorpe's Gift to America, Reclaiming the Sacred Dungeon. Tumblr was a gateway to kink, and Cruising with Boyd McDonnell. You definitely want to get your hands on the kink issue here. I have an exclusive promo code that those at the Gay and Lesbian Review have granted to you all. It is ITBR Choice. Enter it when you check out on the glreview.org, and you will get a free issue of the magazine. I hope you all enjoy your reading, and it'll definitely keep you nice and cozy.
And I think we feel like it's futile, or we think like, oh, this is selfish or weird, and I don't know. And I think it's just like, no, let's do it.
It could be really subversive, and there's a lot of power in subversion, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, do you have any gripes, Drew, with like queer representation in other genres? Like, do you feel that there could be more happening in Hollywood, like with films, TV shows, or
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Anytime there's only one gay TV show on, first of all, the problem is also a lot of it's called inside the house. Gay people hate the one gay show that everybody's talking about. Gay people can't get on board until the show gets canceled, and then they go, oh my God, this network's homophobic.
Yeah.
So we have a problem in our own community. I definitely blame us big time because we don't support our own stuff. And, but if we did that, I do think that we would be able to have a lot more gay stuff, because I know a lot of people just look at numbers. They're just looking at money, and they're looking at views, and they're looking at, Hollywood has no loyalty to anything. They're just like, oh, this is making money. Let's just make more of these.
Bottom line, yeah.
So I think it's important for us to do that. One cool thing that's happening is that straight people are finally, women have always been ahead of the game with this, but straight people are finally like cool watching gay things and supporting gay things without being like, oh God, I gotta turn on the TV, this is gay. So like straight people really liked Heated Rivalry, and they were watching it, and they were talking about it, and be like, wow, those two guys are blah blah, and it was like, yeah, it doesn't mean anything, just enjoy a show. It's a hot, sexy hockey show. You can watch it. We watch straight things all the time, and it doesn't turn us. And so I think that's a good thing that's happening. It's sort of like that straight people are less scared of that in that way. And then, there's the bad stuff that everyone's scared of, anything that might be that, because of the administration, because of what's happening, and the things are getting cut down. I think it's also just like really important that we not forget that it's way worse for trans people right now.
Yes.
So everything is, we're fine, at least right now, and but we need to take care of our trans family and support them and their art, and be like, and, on top of just like, fighting for their rights to exist, supporting their art and seeing those things and posting about it and saying, watch this thing. So I think it is on us. We can complain about, oh, Hollywood all we want, but I think we have to be able to
steer the ship a little bit. I promised Andrew I will navigate away from this topic, but one more question about messy white gays.
No, keep going. No, of course.
You mentioned a minute ago sort of the iconic artists that came out of the 80s and out of the AIDS era, and one of them, of course, is Tony Kushner, who came to see messy white gays along with Patti LuPone, Hillary Clinton. Talk to us a little bit about some of those celebrity guests and some of the incredible and hilarious stories.
God, it's like the Love Boat. So it was really wild. Everyone's always said to me, and it's so true, like when you do a play in New York, you have no idea who's going to be there. And who's just going to show up and be like, oh, so-and-so's here. I mean, Patti LuPone had friends that were fans of Pete Zayas. So Pete Zayas, who we've got to give love for Pete Zayas,
he was so
star
funny
of Messy White Gays. He has an amazing show called Total Trash Live that he just reads tabloids, and it's just, you get the Pete Zayas experience, and there's no one like Pete Zayas.
He has my favorite line in the play, fuck Disney.
Yes. Well, Pete, his show's called Total Trash Live, and so he calls his fans trashies. And so two of these trashies came to the show, and they brought their friend Patti LuPone. And of course, with 112 performances that we did, the one night that we had a drunk, unruly, crazy woman in the audience screaming at us was the night that Patti LuPone
Of
was there.
course.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course. I've always said, and I've had friends tell me that I'm like a monster magnet. Like only when we're with Drew does this awful person come in or whatever, because I attract them because I go, oh, I'm going to bright you down, I'm going to play you. I think Patti has the same curse. I don't think it's a superpower. I think she's cursed with the same thing I am. And I mean, of course, it's like she has to go to the theater the night. And so she was very defensive. She was really nice to us after. And, unlike other times I think when Patty's on stage, it's like a different experience. But she did go up to the woman afterwards and told her to never go to the theater again.
I love that. The New York
And
Post wrote
then,
about that.
yeah, she told the woman she ruined the play for everybody. But she was, I think, very sympathetic to us and had really lovely things to say about this. She was really nice.
That's
and
great.
Stayed for like half an hour to hang out with us, and it was just like really wild. And
That's great.
there's a plaque backstage because she performed the very first night of the space, and there's like Patti LuPone was in this dressing room. She was like, I don't remember. What did I do that? Okay, cool. And so we got to show her that, like, the Patti LuPone dressing room, and that was fun. Tony Kushner, I'm not actually sure how he came. I just heard about it. We had, like, Tony Kushner and Paul Rudnick both came, and those are two of my, like heroes as a writer who shaped everything. I mean, Angels in America. I mean, how do you even
It's incredible.
It's the most important play of the 20th century,
yes,
I think.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And I just think that, like, when someone like that comes, and I knew that he was coming, and I was nervous in such a strange way about it. So I was like, well, the play's already written, and, I hope he's just here to have fun. But he was so lovely.
Amazing person.
And just was really, it just meant the world. I don't quite remember. I was sort of blacking out when I was talking to him, and sort of, and I'm a big fan of Mark Harris as well, his husband.
Yeah.
And so I was like, oh, this is just so great that you came. And
I had a chance to interview both of them on two separate occasions, and they're both lovely, lovely men.
Lovely. So easy to talk with as well. And then Hillary.
Yeah.
Her. Someone that worked on the play works with her and has a connection with her, and so we were able to get her to come. She was going to come to the opening, and then had a personal thing happen, so she came to the closing. And we did the very last performance with Secret Service agents in both VOMs,
wow,
staring us
that's
down
wild.
while we did it. And I was sort of like, I hope they knew the play before, because this is a wild, violent play. I have a joke about a bomb threat. I was aware every line that was coming out of my mouth. When someone's there, sometimes you're like, oh, you have to forget it because it gets in your way, and you're also like, there are 200 other people here tonight this is their experience as well, and how dare you just make it about this one person who's there. But those were all really big people, to come and see this play that that it was very cool.
Yeah. And I know, like, you have, like, not only do you have a theater and English bachelor's, but you also have a Groundlings experience. Is that right, Drew?
Yes.
Okay, so
minor in English, to be clear.
Minor. Okay, well,
yeah.
I'll still take that. I
went to school
minor.
to be an English. I love what you do, Andrew. I went to school to be an English professor, and couldn't hack it, so I picked the easy career of actor and writer.
Yeah, the easier one with auditions.
Oh, it's so easy.
Well, I think you found your path, Drew. It's safe to say.
Sure.
But I'm just curious, like, with your just comedic chops and, like, playing the room in all different ways, whether improv, whether scripted.
Oh yeah, the Groundlings.
Yeah,
I learned so much there. I mean, I will always credit them for really shaping me as a writer. And you write sketches, and you write 5 or 6 sketches a week when you're in there. They have a program called the Sunday Company, and it's like their grad program. Basically, it's boot camp. You're putting up so much material every week, and very little that ever makes it to the stage. And then what does make it on the stage sometimes gets one night, and if it doesn't go well, it's pulled. They're like, we'll do it again next week, but change the blackout line, change this, cut this character. It's too long, or whatever. So you're constantly writing. You're constantly, as they say, killing your babies. and you're just so okay with your stuff going away. So as a writer, it taught me to just edit, not be precious. There were jokes in this play that I loved, but if audiences didn't in our preview period after 2 or 3 shows, that's what previews are for. I'm like, I'm changing the joke, I'm cutting the joke, I'm gonna move it around or whatever. So the Groundlings made you not feel so. I mean, it's very frustrating sometimes when it taught me to have empathy for writers and to really have respect for writers. And something that a lot of people are very scared of improvisers because they think we're going to come in and just say whatever and change things. And some improvisers do. And I will say, and it was I learned a lot when I was watching auditions for this play. So I'm jumping around a little bit, but watching auditions for this play, and when actors would come in and change words around willy-nilly and kind of sort of get it, especially when they could literally hold the script in front of them. We never asked them to be off book, would bother me because it would ruin the joke. I'm like, well, you added 3 words to that line, so now it's not going to work. But also I'm like, oh, it does tell me like, oh, you think you can just come in and say whatever? Because I did work on this. So I would encourage actors to respect the writing and to really try to get it. Now, it's hard when you're auditioning. Sometimes you get carried away, and sometimes when there's a vibe, but it was just an energy that I could feel from some people. Like, I'll kind of say what's here, which kind of is like, I don't really know that I want to work with that because I don't know. But I've also worked on the other side as an actor with writers who are like, I wrote that line and I hit print, so therefore I am Shakespeare. You know, and you're like, well, it's hard in my mouth, I can't say it, or like it's not doesn't make sense, and can we figure this out? And so the Groundlings really taught me collaboration as an actor and a writer, and really being like, it's a team effort. And we really tried in Messy White Gaze, especially with this cast. I'd done a lot of readings of this play, but this was the inaugural cast. You know, we were told, our producers told them on the first day, you're carving out these roles. They will be forever sort of compared to the 5 of you. And we really wanted these actors to own the roles and to feel comfortable with what they were saying. We were saying some really messed up stuff, but also like, is it funny? Does it make sense? It doesn't really matter how it reads. How does it sound to an audience? How does it scan for them when they're watching people on stage doing it? And so it took a lot of that. And I learned all of that at the Groundlings. And then just like with improv, it just makes you kind of not be too precious about anything because you're literally going on stage when you're doing improv. Because they do improv and sketch, and you have to train in both mediums. And so it's like, you have no idea what you're going to go out and do. It's terrifying, but it's also like there's a freedom. There's kind of nothing in your head. You're just like, I'm just coming out to play, and it really gave me a lot of confidence as a performer.
That's a gift, I think.
Yeah.
It's a gift.
And that's what I was astonished by watching Messy What Gaze is the beats. Like, there's so much skilled choreography going on that stage of like, hit this.
Mike Donahue, our director, Mike Donahue. So
incredible.
Yeah. So
like breakneck.
Yeah. And I was thinking like, how are you, how did you all as a cast? Because I could tell it seemed like you all put so much effort into the organic nature of every performance, like really just trying to even surprise yourselves about what is about to come.
Yes. I mean, and I'm crazy. There were times it wasn't fast enough for me, like, to be honest. I was like, it's got to go, go, go. Because also the longer you sit with these characters and have them ruminate and think and sort of, it makes them unlikable in an unhelpful way. It actually makes them smarter in a way where they're actually considering what they've done versus people who are just like so driven by their id, driven by cocaine and the heat of the moment and the sex and all of it is like, they don't stop and think twice about what they've done and said. They just are moving on, deal with it, move. Also with the comedy like this, a lot of them are references, and some nights audiences will get it, some nights not. So the cast knew, if you're not getting a laugh right away, you're going to the next line. You're not holding, you're not milking, you can't. You have to kind of go to the, and it was, that was for me, it was such a lesson that I had to like really work on every night to try to do. But yes, it was, we did decide, we were like, this is a cocaine play. It was kind of what we said. Because I did say at first, I said, I would tell audiences and stuff, I said, this play needs to be screamed. And Mike was like, I don't love that. I think that's maybe the wrong direction. I don't think we need to be screaming. And so we had to shape it a little bit more. But I was like, I kind of knew what it sounded like in my head. And it was one kind of long scream. But
And it has an effect, Drew. I mean, it's so exhilarating that at a certain point, you're like, am I high? Like you start to feel like you might be
Yeah.
high, like you get a contact high somehow, and you just like lose sight of yourself because the whole thing is so delirious and
oh,
hilarious.
good. Oh,
Yeah.
good.
Well, I saw it twice, as you know, so obviously I enjoy the effect it had on me.
Yeah.
I want to shift gears for a moment and talk
Yeah.
about Queer,
Yes.
which was my favorite film of 2024. As you know, I wrote a rave review of it, also in the Gay and Lesbian Review. What was it like working on Burroughs' most personal story, I think? I'm a huge fan of Burroughs. I co-edited an anthology of his work, and with Luca Guadagnino, one of my favorite contemporary filmmakers.
Are you a fan of classic Hollywood movies?
Are you a fan of queer cinema?
Then do we have the podcast for you.
Hello, everyone. I'm Christian Garcia.
And I'm Luke Del Mar.
And we are your hosts of That Old Gay Classic Cinema, where we take a look at some of the greatest films of all time and analyze them through a queer theoretical lens.
Let's be honest. LGBTQIA+ people have been a part of Hollywood since its inception, and this podcast celebrates those artists and entertainers of yesteryear while also taking a closer look at the queer-coded characters and stories in classic Hollywood films long before queer representation entered the mainstream.
So follow us down the road of classic cinema as we give you a guide to some of the films that touched our hearts, brains, and even gave us courage to be ourselves.
You can listen to That Old Gay Classic Cinema wherever you get your podcasts, and be sure to follow us on Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok.
All right, listeners, we're ready for our close-up.
Welcome to Severed, a podcast week dropping new episodes every Monday. Severed true crime and severed paranormal episodes deep dive into murder, mysteries, and the otherworldly in a concise format. A 7-minute story to frame the case with thoughtful analysis and our usual banter.
We sometimes find the lighter side of darker cases. We offer 3 spin-off shows, Severed Strange Stories, Severed Haunted You, and Severed Serial Killers that highlight the unusual to lighthearted topics from the digital dumpsters of true crime, haunted universities, and the minds of madness like Ted Bundy and Jeffrey Dahmer.
We are your co-hosts. I'm Harry Chambers.
And I'm Drew Hudson. Listen on all major podcast platforms, including Rogue Media Network and Radio Garden State. Follow us on Instagram at severed_podcast.
Blizzard Entertainment presents Midnight, the newest expansion for World of Warcraft. Midnight calls every hero home to Azeroth. All paths lead to this moment. Xalatath rises, the Void follows, and the Sunwell stands in peril. Raiders, explorers, storytellers, newcomers, and legends alike. This is your world, your story, your moment. Because Azeroth is home, and home is always worth fighting for. Pre-purchase now at worldofwarcraft.com.
Instagram teen accounts have automatic protections for what teens see and who can contact them, plus time management tools. And Instagram will continue adding built-in safety features to help create age-appropriate experiences. Learn more about teen accounts and Instagram's ongoing work to protect teens online at instagram.com/teen accounts.
Well, it was wild. I had heard, like, during pandemic, a friend, who has produced a lot of Luca's stuff, told me that he was a fan of my Chloe videos.
Mm-hmm.
And so I made a video for Luca for his birthday.
Of course.
And it was during pandemic. I was like, it's going to be on my iPhone. It's not going to be cute. It's not going to have all the, and so, he just got back to me and said, oh, he loved it. And it was like, oh, I'm so happy that, that makes me so happy that he liked what I did and how cool that I got to, send it to him. They played it at a party or something and it was big. And so I was at a screening for his documentary about Ferragamo that Luca did. And so he was at the Q&A. And so I never do this. I hate running up to people and being like, hey, I'm blah, blah, blah. you know, I don't know. I've lived in LA for 26 years, and maybe be a lot further along in my career if I didn't do this. But I just hate running up to people and trying to pitch myself but I wanted to say hi, and I knew that we'd done and had the history there, and I just wanted to
It's reasonable.
tell him I was a big fan, and you know, I've never thought I would ever work with him because his stuff and mine are so different, and I really was like, no clue. And so he was so lovely, and then just told me then, he's like, I can't believe it. I'm meeting you because I'm actually developing a movie right now, and there's a role that I think I'd love you to do. Wow. And I had to tell my friend, and my friend was like, oh my God, I've got to forget that. I've got to forget it because I've been around long enough, and I know how things happen, and I know how they don't happen. And with good intentions, it's like the movie falls through. They had to hire a name. They couldn't, whatever, you know. So I never hold people to that when they say things like that to me, because I understand what I've been around too long to not, you know, and not sit around every day and be like, maybe today I'll get the call. So I kind of forgot about it. But a few months later, sure enough, I got the call to go do this movie. Then I I had not read Queer until then, and I read the book, and it's so beautiful, it's so dense, it's so hard, it's like 100 pages and very hard to read. But I loved it, and I was like, oh, this is so evocative. I had seen Naked Lunch years ago before, and I, you know, and that's, you know, was, you know, so Cronenberg as much as it was Burroughs. And so, and I read a biography on Burroughs as well, so I was sort of getting into this whole thing. And so, yeah, but my character in the book is just mentioned just in one little piece, but it was cool to be in a movie of this iconic book and play a character that was in a book. I was like, that's always been one of those cool things to me. Yeah. To get to do. And so originally I was just in one scene, and we did a table read, and then I think because the movie is so dark and heavy and beautiful and moody and everything, but they also wanted just some comedy, and so they threw more stuff for me to do and for Jason Schwartzman to do, because we're kind of the comedic
foils
characters in that. And then I got to go to Rome and work with the nicest people. Daniel Craig is the loveliest, best actor, the greatest actor to work with. I was very intimidated. I was very scared. And Luca is so kind and wonderful, very good with the actors. But also, it's terrifying, and I've not done a movie like this before. And I'm also playing this sort of pre-Stonewall, drunk, bitchy queen. What I have done. It's like the people that eating out were like, hey, we wrote Dick Dicky, and it's sort of in line with that of like these roles that I get to, you know. So it just felt like, okay, I know. I read the script, and I go, well, I know exactly who this person is, but I was nervous about it stylistically, that I wasn't going to, that the groundlings, eating out, like the stuff I've done before. I'm like, this is a film by Luca Guadagnino with Daniel Craig. Is this going to fit? And so that took a lot of back and forth to find that and figure that out. And he was very patient. They all were very patient with me on that. And Daniel was the first one to come up and be like, what do you need? How can we make this better? And like, you know, and he was just so sweet. And, you know, my very first take, I flubbed all of my lines. And he was like, the cameras weren't even in the right place. It's good. It could not have been more lovely.
How long were you there for in Rome? How long?
3 weeks.
3 weeks. Wow.
Yeah.
That's significant.
Yeah, it was great.
Wow. Well, and like, do you feel that now, like, did that, because I know you've done, you know, different genres, but like, do you feel that being in Queer, like with Luca Guadagnino, like, has that pushed you to think about, oh, maybe I'll do a tragedy, maybe I'll do
I
like.
would love to. I would love to. I mean, I am going out for more dramatic stuff now, because I've been leaning on my reps to just because I love doing comedy, and there's not really that. The difference is more in the writing than it is in the performing. I mean, like, you know, the Groundlings was really good at teaching that too. Like, you don't play comedy, play the truth. And the comedy is in the small details. Drama's in the big details. You know, the house is on fire. I'm dying. Well, that's tragedy. I broke a nail. We spilt milk. That's comedy. But you play them both with the same intensity. So, you know, you're not really like doing, you know, and people kind of like, oh, they're a comedy actor. And, you know, we just lost Catherine O'Hara, who comedy legend, but also one of the greatest actors. Yeah, and tremendous. Because she was a great actor was why we found her so funny, and she usually almost always leaned towards that, except, I mean, and for your consideration, when
She's so
she's
funny.
so heartbreaking at the end of
Yeah.
that movie, where
Yeah.
I think she deserved an Oscar nomination for that movie, because it was like, God, you just it's devastating. Um, so I would love to do more dramatic stuff. I've also my favorite. I mean, I love doing theater, and I love independent film, and I just hope we are able to make more indie films where I can play. I've always wanted to be the character actor that is in. I've not really ever been that interested in being the lead in something. I mean, even in my own play, I have the smallest stage time of anybody in the play, and I kind of like, I don't know. I'm always, I'd be fine doing the biggest part, but it's not really my dream to be the star as much as it is to be like the interesting oddball weirdo. And yeah,
Speaking
so
of stars, though, you just shot a film with RuPaul, right?
yes,
Can you
I
talk about that
did.
at all?
Yeah, I guess I can. It's been announced. They didn't. I mean, they're giant stars in this movie, so I mean, I'm like, they didn't announce me, but wait, what it? But I'm in a really fun movie directed by Adam Shankman. It's
Ooh.
called Stop That Train, and it was so much fun to do. I didn't get to work with Rue on this one, but yes, all I can say is it's a bunch of drag queens playing stewardesses, um,
I love the
playing
concept.
female stewardesses on a train that's very similar to Airplane. It is,
Mm.
and I say this with complete respect, stupid, stupid, stupid. But there are so many gags. I have never seen a script that was like a 90-minute film that had like 250 setups in it. It was like
Wow.
just
Wow.
scene after scene after scene, just bit, 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 bit.
Wow.
And all of us in the movie, like Lisa Rinna, Sarah Michelle Gellar,
Lisa Rinna. Oh, I
yes, I got
love
to work with
her.
Lisa Rinna, who is a delight. Sarah Michelle Gellar was so much
Oh,
fun.
Sarah Michelle Gellar. Wow.
Those are the
Wow.
two that I got to do most of my stuff with. And June Rayfield, dear friend, the genius, the most brilliant comedian. But I know Paul Shear's in it, and Missy Pyle, Chris Parnell.
Hmm.
It's a wild cast of people who
Does
have
it have a
all.
release date yet?
I think May. I think it's coming out in
Oh,
May.
this soon.
But
Oh,
we're all like little cameos in this movie. So I was very honored to get to be a part of that, and it was so fun. And I'd never worked with Adam before, who was so much fun. So yeah, it was great.
That's great.
yeah, I like his work.
Me too.
Hairspray.
I do too.
Yeah.
He's a really fun set too. It was, he moves really quickly. He knows exactly what he wants. We were just, and I think, and there were so many people that were on it and very happy because they were just there for. I mean, I was there for 2 days, and I think they wanted me for 3. They booked me for 3, and we got done with my stuff in 2. And they were just like, "That's how fast it moved,"
That's
which is a great sign in comedy. The faster you move, the better it is because you're not overthinking it. You're not going, "Oh, let's really take our time with this shot and really get into the, overthink." And they're like, "Nope, we got it." And spontaneous. They encouraged improv all the time, so we did so much improv in the movie, and so that usually first take is the best with that because you're not trying sort of be funnier and funnier and funny on top of funny, hats on top of hats. It's just like they were just. It was a very. I feel like it felt very confident in what they were making. It's a really funny script. They put really fun people in, so I'm excited about it.
Yeah, I am too. I look forward to seeing
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. So, like, how many takes though for Queer? Like, did you have to do a lot of takes with Luca
Luca
Guadagnino?
is, I mean, talk about confident. If he got what he needed in one take, we moved on.
That's it. Wow.
If he didn't, we were there all day.
Okay.
And so he knew exactly what it wanted to look like. He knew exactly. And so there was one thing that's in the book that was cut in the movie, but it's a thing where Burroughs, who is Lee in the movie, picks up a rat from the bar and shoots the rat in the bar, which is kind of a famous scene in the
book.
But it didn't make it into the movie. We spent all day because one of my scenes was after that, and and he was literally watching them go through that. I know all the effects too because the bullet had ricochet and there was all this effect, and it's one of those things that you're like, God, that had to be such a shame because I'm watching it going, this is so cool, and I'm like, oh, and they ended up not using it in the film for whatever reason, but he was very, we were there until we got it done, but then. There were some things after one scene, he's like, moving on. That's exactly what I wanted. It's great. So he was very, very confident in that way. And of course, as an actor, you're like, oh God, because we got to rehearse. we were there for a week before we started shooting, and all of us just working together. So we had like a rehearsal, and we were going and doing readings. And so like when you're going to shoot it, it does feel like this is the one. And he'd be like, moving on, and you're like, oh God, but I trust, you know, you just trust him. You know, it's like great. You know,
Real visionaries know what they need, and
Yeah,
when they get it, they're
exactly.
ready to just move on to the next part of it.
100%.
Yeah. Well, and like during Messy White Gaze, I'm sure, like, do you remember any moments where just live theater, a mishap happened, but it actually really was a great way for one of you in the cast or all together to come up with some improv moment?
We had so many. We had some crazy moments where one of us would go up on a line and we would just be like looking at each other, and because it is so fast, you're like, oh no, the audience immediately knows that we're off, and so we would definitely help each other out. It was a new experience for all five of us in different ways. It was my first play that I had written with multiple people in it. People like Derek Chadwick, it was his first play, and he was phenomenal in the play. You know, but he was like, you know,
And
yeah, sorry.
did he? So go ahead, Drew. Go ahead. No, I'm sorry.
No, but it was like you know, and then for him it was, and James Cusati Moyer is an incredible dramatic actor. It was his first time doing this kind of broad comedy. Aaron Jackson is comedy legend, comedy royalty, but hadn't done an off-Broadway play. So all of us were kind of like, and Pete had not done a show in New York, The Wrong Run. So all of us were like, it was a beautiful experience, I think, as we were like, we got your back. And oh boy, this is scary every night. I will say the last performance, when Hillary Clinton was there, we were askew, to use a Pete Zayas word. I think it was our last show, number one. We were emotional in that way. We had done a matinee the day, so we had done 2 shows the day before and 2 shows that day. So you're always kind of wonky on that 4th show in 2 days. And we, because she was there, because we had Secret Service there, there was a level of like, so we kept knocking things over that last show. Things that had never done before. Chairs would get knocked over, ottomans, whatever. And so we kept doing it and kind of acknowledging or having fun with it. The audience was kind of like rolling with it. The last show, they were so on our side. But at the end, Aaron has to stand up and say that the big confession of how we murdered and we did the whole thing. I don't even know if it was him or was somebody else stood up and knocked over a wine bottle and just spilt wine all over the carpet, and wine is running off.
Oh my God.
It was just wine all over the place. And so we all kind of stopped and we were like, are you gonna pick up the wine, or are we just gonna let wine get everywhere? Last show. And so Aaron is about to say, we did it, we killed him. And so it was perfect timing. Wine knocks over, wine spilling, we kind of gasp. And Aaron goes, that's the least of your worries. And then went into doing the thing. And it was just got this huge laugh. And I was like, Aaron Jackson, you just improvised in front of Hillary Rodham.
Yeah, that's being quick on your feet. That's
yeah. Oh, it was.
He's not a groundling though, right? He doesn't have
he's from UCB, so they are an incredible.
Okay.
They started in New York, but they also are great in LA as well. So another comedy theater, and Aaron has his own film from his UCB show that he developed with Josh Sharp. So Dix the musical, which
yes,
I
haven't seen Dix. It was my Barbie. I will die on that hill. It was my Barbie.
Well, so where are you looking, like, you know, in terms of art, like any suggestions for, you know, what's out right now that like you have your eyes on for everyone listening or watching to you, Drew?
Yeah. I'm trying to think of what I have seen.
You give the best recommendations. I remember you're the one who got me to see Dead Outlaw on theater.
Oh my God! Right.
I saw Oedipus because of your endorsement.
Well, that's one of the best things I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah. Yes. So I mean, I think I went to more theater last year than I had in years because of all of your recommendations.
Good. Oh, I'm so glad. You know, I mean, I feel like, you know, I mean, and I did fully enjoy Heated Rivalry. I thought it was so fun, and I was like, oh yeah, I'm so glad things like this exist. And fun fact, and I'm so proud of Connor's story. He was in my class last year. I taught him at the Groundlings.
Oh wow. He's really talented. He's a really good actor.
So talented. I mean, I really had no idea with the Russian of it all. I'm like,
yeah,
Connor? You know, but he was so
convincing.
funny. I mean, he was so weird in the best way that I was like, this guy is like special. He wasn't just like, oh, he's funny and he's gonna realize it's all that weird thing of like I know when, but I have so many students that I'm like, oh, they're brilliant, and I love teaching for that reason of finding people. But it was so wild to see him, just a year ago in my improv classes, and he was waiting tables in LA, and then
Like
gets
an
this
overnight success.
Canadian show, and
Wild.
just be like, so I'm
Yeah.
so proud of him.
That's kind of
So-
like, remember Lucas Gage when he it came out where that like someone in the audition was like saying a comment and he's like, well, if I get the job, I'll be able to like upgrade.
I know, and it's like, wow, when those things happen.
Yeah.
Fellow Travelers is maybe one of the best
I love Fellow
queer
Traveler.
art that I've seen
Beautiful.
in years. All of Us Strangers.
Gorgeous movie.
I mean, anything Ben Whishaw or Andrew Scott are doing, I mean, more of both of them. My God, it destroyed me. Peter Hujar's Day that I saw this year was really beautiful.
Yeah.
Just giving the, letting, I mean, Ira Sachs, I'm a big fan of his work, and I just
He's
really
great.
love his films. It's like Luca, every film he makes is different, and it's like, it's undeniably, this beautiful gay story, but he tells them very differently. And so I'm definitely very inspired by all of them. And then, obviously there's...
Life gets a lot easier once you start using Shipt same-day delivery. With Shipt, connect with reliable shoppers who go to your fave national and local stores for you. They hand-select everything on your list so you get peace of mind and time back for anything. More time to sip coffee, more time to work out, more time to enjoy your way. Try Shipt today with a 14-day free trial. Download the Shipt app or visit shipt.com. Terms apply.
They always tell you there's a catch, a compromise, an asterisk. Terms apply. See store for details. May be less than advertised. May vary by mood. Probably. Sprite Zero Sugar? It's different. It's the lemon lime flavored refreshment you want with zero sugar. So, no fast voice? No caveats. Just refreshment. This is Sprite Zero Sugar. Obey your thirst.
The kids that are coming up with stuff that I'm always like, I try to sort of watch, and of course I'm drawing the blank of like, what have I seen lately that's been, but something like Bodies, 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 I thought that was just
so
It's
good.
such a fun movie. Yeah.
genius. I mean, that's my jam. So I see things like that, I go, oh, I'm so inspired, and like, yeah, we can make these things. And also what I told you, like, you have this, like, you can make a movie, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
you have a phone in your hand, do it. You have a story to tell, do it. And especially if you're queer, please, more of that.
Yeah.
Put that out.
Yeah.
For sure.
Well, and like, as we're, at the end, because I know I want to respect your time, Drew.
Thank
You have a show to see.
I've got a
I
show.
remember.
I got to go to the theater.
Yes, you have the theater. But any little hints out there? I mean, you've said Messy White Gaze is going to reappear in theatrical ways. Any hints, like if we could be seeing it in a screen format?
hope
Oh, interesting.
So. We've been talking a lot mainly about our productions that we want to put up at different places in the world, which is exciting. Nothing is official yet at all. But also we have some people that have come and seen it that are really interested in turning it into a film, which I think would be really fun.
That would be so much fun.
It's
very cinematic.
Well, I mean, a lot of people said that, and I also wonder if we can try to maybe do it like Rope. And
Like Rope, in one single shot, a single
do
take.
it in one shot.
Yeah,
and now with digital, you can really kind of cheat in ways that Hitchcock couldn't.
Oh, that would be so brilliant. Please
that
let
would
it
be a
happen.
really fun way of kind
Yeah.
of doing it, and that would
I would
be
love
like just run and gun.
I
So
have
I'd
one
love-
final question,
Yes.
Andrew, and it's a little bit somber, but James Vanderbeek of Dawson's Creek
Yeah.
passed away today at only 48 years old. You mentioned before we started recording that you actually had a chance to work with him at one point. Can you talk a little bit about that?
I did. It's just one of those. We're the same age, and they're just the people that when I was sort of coming up in my 20s and watching him on TV, and you do that thing in your 20s with actors that you see, and like I'm remotely a James Vanderbeek type, but Sarah Michelle Gellar, James Vanderbeek, and I are like months apart in age, and so I've always kind of looked at them as I don't know what you do in your 20s. Like, well, I'm not them. I got to do, and
Sure.
so I was really liked him and thought he was really great, and I got to work with him on the New Now Next Awards, the Logo Awards. When I was playing Chloe Sevigny, he was hosting, and he would throw to me in the audience, and I was doing commentary in the audience. I did a thing with a cast of Bridesmaids and a thing with Brittany Snow, and I did different like little things with different people. And he like all week was so lovely, so collaborative, and and not to sound so like he is a straight guy. He was nice to us, not to sound so pathetic like that, but he really was like loved anything where it might imply that he was having an affair with drag queens, that he had some gay in it. Like he was just so confident and in a lovely way of like, yeah, I'm hosting the gay award show. And yeah, like gay guys are hot for me. I'm not gay, but I don't want to come off like, hey guys, I'm straight. Like back off. Instead, he was like, let's embrace it. Let's be silly and horny. And he was so great with the writers. And so I got to spend like almost a week in my memory with him, like sort of, because they brought me in early to sort of work out bits and all of that. And so, and he just could not have been kinder and really lovely at the after party, and just was such a fun, person to work with on that. And I know that I've been sort of following his battles and seeing all of that, and just my heart goes out to him and his family, because everyone that knew him and ever worked with him said he was one of the kindest people. And it's so heartbreaking. And I just, yeah, please, everybody, get checked for colon cancer, get screened, get a colonoscopy. I had one. It was actually delightful. I'm not even going to lie. Aside from the prep itself, but like it really was, it's not the big deal that you
It's
think.
not at all. I'm getting mine next week, in fact. So
Enjoy.
Yeah.
Take the pills.
Yeah,
Get the
we got it. We
pills.
got the
Don't
prescription
drink
already.
the sludge. Take
We got
the
it
pills.
already. We got it.
And if everybody has a question about that, DM me. I'll tell you about the pills.
As will I.
Well, Drew, thank you for being here. This was
Thank you for having me.
fabulous.
This was
Also,
so much fun. I love chatting with y'all.
yeah, and I know you have a website, right, where everyone can find
I do.
you.
DrewDroege.com.
Okay,
Yes.
good.
And I'm on Instagram at Drew_Droege, and I'm on Threads.
Oh,
sometimes.
Threads.
Ooh. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, as long as we're not on X, that's all
right.
right.
That's right.
Well,
That's
Drew, yes. Thank you so much, Drew. And
Thank
Brian,
you
thanks
so
for
much.
joining too.
My
That was so
pleasure.
much fun.
Thank you for inviting me.
Yeah.
Thank you,
Yes,
guys.
thank you. Bye, Drew.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye, Brian.